Probably at some point in time, you have found yourself either on a diet, thinking about going on a diet, or coming off a diet. But here's a question. If the goal is to lose the weight and to keep the weight off forever, then why are we always on a diet? Maybe dieting isn't the solution. Well, on today's episode of Your Best Life, we will talk with an expert on the 80-20 lifestyle and how to live your best life without ever going on a diet again. Stay tuned. Welcome to Your Best Life. I'm your host and healthy living correspondent, Beth Schomp. We hear it all the time. Diets that promise quick, amazing results. Yet in a recent study, it showed that 95% of all diets fail. So what's the answer? Well, in today's episode, I have our holistic health coach, Lizbane of Lizbane Life and Balance. Liz is going to teach us how to stop the dieting and how to adopt a very healthy lifestyle with doable results. It's called the 80-20 lifestyle. So welcome back, Liz. So glad to have you here.
Thank you. It's always good to be here, Beth.
So tell us a little bit about your personal dieting experience. Tell us what worked for you, what didn't work for you.
Well, do you have about 3 hours?
Let's cut it short for the audience.
Well, because like so many women in America and the world today, I started struggling as a teenager. I started to put on a few pounds when I was about 13, 14 years old. And my mother was going off to her Weight Watcher meetings every Wednesday night. And I said, can I come with you? And that began a lifetime of diet roller coaster rides. You know, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, Atkins, whatever I could find, I tried it. And I would always lose 10, 15 pounds, but slowly I would always gain it back again. And I did this probably for 35, 40 years. And it's very distressing and it takes a toll on our body, on our health, and on our well-being. Mm-hmm. So eventually, in my late 40s, I discovered something called the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, or IIN, as it's known. It's the largest nutrition school in the world that teaches individuals how to become a holistic health coach. And through that program, I learned how to heal my body and how to stop dieting. And that's where everything changed for me.
So the 80-20 lifestyle that I've heard you talk about, can you explain to our audience, what is that?
So I created this way of shopping, cooking, and eating that I call clean, which means that everything in my house and that I eat at home is organic, no chemicals, real whole foods, mostly plants. And that's how I eat 80% of the time. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. But when we go out to dinner on a Saturday night or on a Tuesday night, or we go to a wedding or a birthday party, and I feel like that piece of chocolate cake, or I'm interested in a slice of pizza with a glass of wine, I let myself have it. But I watch, and I don't eat the pizza every night, and I don't have cake and dessert every night. Just occasionally when I'm out, and I feel like it, I listen to my body. But the majority of time, Beth, I'm eating clean. And if you do that long enough, you actually start to crave the healthy, clean food more than you crave the sweets. So it's been working for me, and I try to share my 80-20 lifestyle concept with my clients.
So it seems like to me, so many diets make you feel deprived or guilty if you have that piece of chocolate cake. But this sounds like to me, it's as much of a mindset as it is the actual physical part of it. Yes?
Absolutely. The diet industry is more than a $600 billion industry, and it grows every year. And that's because we all contribute to it, okay? But ultimately, it doesn't really work because we keep giving them money because we lose that 10 pounds, we gain it back, and so we go to the next diet. So what diets do, what they're famous for, is restriction. You can eat this, but not this. And 80-20 takes that word restriction, guilt, deprivation, and throws it out the window and says, what do you love to eat? Mm-hmm. Enjoy it. But let's do it in moderation. Let's do it occasionally. If you love ice cream, let's have ice cream once a week and enjoy it, okay? Let's not have it every day, but let's find other things to replace the ice cream that you can enjoy just as much.
You know, we hear all the time about being fully present, and that to me is what my takeaway from what you're saying here is that when you eat, be fully present. If you're going to have that ice cream, don't just have it mindlessly, enjoy it. And then you're not going to feel like you have to have it every day because you've got that sense of joy and fulfillment when you did have it. But you're balancing everything else
That's an excellent point, Beth. And another thing I really try to encourage people on is where are they eating? How are they eating? Because the majority of people today eat with their phone in front of them, scrolling while they're eating. And honestly, you finish your meal and you don't even realize you ate anything or what you ate, and you go looking for the next thing. So I really encourage people, put that phone somewhere else, sit down and eat a meal with nothing else, preferably with someone else that you can have a conversation with. But if you can't have a conversation with somebody, sometimes I'll read a book because to me that's quiet and calming, but I really try to keep my phone away because that takes away our ability to be present and enjoy the food we're eating.
Good tips, very good tips. So Liz, you mentioned about restaurants and when we go to a wedding or we're socializing or traveling, how do you, give us more details, how you incorporate this 80-20 lifestyle in those circumstances?
Great question. We have to be thoughtful and we have to plan ahead. So if I know I'm going to a new restaurant tonight for dinner, I'm going online and I'm looking at the menu in advance. And I'm finding what vegetables do they offer, what main courses do they offer, and I give it thought at home, and I say, okay, I'm gonna order that piece of salmon, I'm gonna get the side of Brussels, and I'm gonna have some brown rice with it. Or I might choose something different. I might choose that pizza because I haven't had pizza in 2 months and I really feel like it. But I'm going to be thoughtful and I'm gonna plan ahead. And if I'm doing the pizza, that means for the next week, I'm going to be eating my clean, healthy dinners at home and not having the abundance of pizza every night. That's restaurants. Plan ahead, go online, decide what you're going to eat. Because sometimes when we're at the restaurant, in the moment, we're having a glass of wine and we don't always make the best choices.
Or food is so emotional, quite honestly. And so your style of looking at the menu ahead of time, you're making an educated decision as opposed to an emotional, I can't make up my mind, what should I get? And then other people could influence you as well.
Absolutely.
So that just makes a lot of sense to me.
Also, we don't want to go to a restaurant super hungry. There's nothing worse than sitting down at a restaurant and being starving, because guess what we do? We go for that bread basket right away. And even though that bread is delicious, it's not the best thing to start a meal with, right? So I actually advise my clients to do a couple different things before they leave the house if they're hungry. A handful of nuts, which are filled with protein and good fats, an apple for the crunchiness and the fiber, or a half an avocado, which is filled with good fats, which is very satiating and good for the blood sugar. Those 3 things are great foods before you go to a restaurant if you're hungry, because you'll do a lot better in making better choices, eating slower and enjoying your meal, and not feeling at the end of the meal like you overindulged.
So when you travel, you don't have that opportunity to know in advance what restaurants you're going to be in, even when you're going to be in a restaurant. So how do you work with that?
I bring a lunchbox. Wherever I travel, I pack food. I have my beautiful purple lunchbox and my little cooler that goes inside, and I have all my healthy treats that I put in there. Now, it might not make a perfect meal, but it's my pistachio nuts, an apple. I make these special little fat bombs that are filled with all kinds of healthy stuff. I do berries. So I have all kinds of healthy snacks I put in my lunchbox. I even bring my really clean plant-based milk. So when I stop at Starbucks, I use my milk and not their milk. And this gets me from point A to point B, where I stay healthy and clean, and I don't arrive having eaten horrible airport food.
So the key is preparation in advance. That
Exactly.
makes a lot of sense. So Liz, how would a health coach such as yourself help someone stop dieting and start to live that 80-20 lifestyle? How would you incorporate changes?
Well, I do 3 things, Beth. I ask a lot of questions, and I really let the person think and reflect about their lifestyle and what they eat every day. And I ask them to share. And there's no judgment for me. So I make them feel safe and trusted that whatever they share with me, is safe. So what I'm really looking for is their areas of struggle, okay? Whether it's afternoon snacking, ice cream before bed, Fruit Loops for breakfast. What's their area of struggle? And that's where we start. And I help them come up with other ideas to crowd out that one particular area. So I get them safe and comfortable to get rid of that afternoon snacking and replace it with really yummy, healthy stuff. So once we have that taken care of, then we go to the next place. How can we make dinner easier? What's one brand food or what's one roasted vegetable I can teach them to incorporate into their daily routine that's easier? So I do baby steps with my clients. I don't create plans for people and say, here's your plan, we'll talk in 2 weeks. One thing at a time, baby steps. And I also let my clients text me and email me. I have many people who text me from the grocery store, Liz, what do you think of this brand? So that's one thing I do. I also have my top 20 brands that I share with my clients that are all clean and safe to keep in your house on a regular basis. So you always have clean food there.
This makes so much sense to me. I love to teach people when it comes to changing nutrition. I try to get my clients to walk before I get them to run. And that is exactly what you're doing, is that you're getting people to incorporate and celebrate the wins, create those small successes early in your program so that you can then develop habits and a lifestyle, the 80-20 lifestyle.
Yes.
That's perfect. So Liz, thank you again. As always, she's a wealth of information, isn't she? So if you would like to be able to reach Liz, would you share with us again the best contact information for you?
Again, thank you for having me here today, Beth. It's always so much fun to talk to you about all things health and wellness. You can reach me on Instagram at Lizbane Life and Balance. Please DM me. I'd love to hear from you. Or on my website, lblifeandbalance.com. That's lblifeandbalance.com. And I'd really love to hear from you and answer all your questions. Thank you.
And be sure to check out our previous episodes with Liz as well. We've got a great one on how to crush the sugar habit. So lots of good information out there. And we have more exciting episodes coming for you. So if you'd like to reach out to me, you can always personally email me at yourbestlife9@gmail.com. Now, please be sure and like this video and subscribe. And until our next time to get together, I want you to be happy,